Hi, guys. This is Sapphire Esquire coming to you with some recent things that have been going on in the news. If you look at that picture in front of you, that picture depicts two of the most powerful black men in the music industry. One is 50 Cent, and of course, the other one is Diddy. And the woman in between them is Daphne Joy. Now, some of you may remember Daphne Joy from Diddy's trial last year, where the government was painting her as one of the victims of his sex trafficking. However, a recent video has come out where Daphne Joy appears to be anything but a victim. She appears to be a willing participant. Also in this videotape is I don't know if he's a paid escort or some of them say he's a porn actor, but they're engaged in very, very strenuous sexual activity. He is throat goading her, he is digging her out, he is doing everything in between. And like I said, she doesn't appear to be having any problem with it. And you can see Diddy in the background, and he seems to be kind of directing things. Also, not only is she one of the people that was took part in these freak-offs allegedly by Diddy, she also happens to be the baby mama of 50 Cent. Yes, Daphne Joy is the mother of one of 50 Cent's sons. So not only is this woman participating in these freak-offs with Diddy, but she's also the mother of one of 50 Cent's children. And that's what I really want to talk about today. The name of this video is entitled The Deification of the Non-Black Woman. Because if you understand something about these women, they don't have to be particularly talented. They don't have to be smart. They don't even really have to be that attractive. This seems to be the common denominator seems to be they just have to be non-black. And it seems like that way they can write their own ticket. 50 Cent is a very, very powerful man in the music industry. Started off as a rapper, and I guess still is a rapper. But he's also the producer of one of the most prolific TV series on Power series, and it's branched off to other different with the son Tariq and Kane, his character, and it's a very, very popular series, particularly with the black community. And now the 50 Cent has now gone into films and TV. Incidentally, he also did a documentary about Diddy where he was really trashing Diddy and going into all sorts of his background and kind of accusing him of all sorts of things, that aren't even related to these so-called freak-offs that he was on trial for. And a lot of people said it's because of this woman, Daphne Joy. Now, I'm hesitant to go into this because it's a very sticky subject, but there really does seem to be, and I don't want to say problem, but it's definitely an issue with our black men where the non-black woman just seems to be just something that they just cannot, I don't know, what is the word I'm looking for, cannot resist. Like I said, they don't even have to be that, these women don't even have to be that attractive. And I know a lot of men find Daphne Joy very attractive, but to me, I guess she's okay. She's obviously had BBL. She's obviously had a lot of work done. She was recently in an interview with DJ Academics where she's giggling and talking about how she's just really so for her man, and he's just completely infatuated and thirsty. And he's even said he understands why all these men would put down all this money for her, and he would be willing to do the same. I guess I don't know. It strikes me that a lot of our men have a problem like this. And obviously we know what the root of it all is. It's self-esteem. It's always being told all our lives and that drumming in you that these other people are better. Anything's better than black. So in some ways it's understandable, but it's also very sad. Now, I want to actually turn to another one of these types of non-black women. And just recently, the name Sauce Walker, who is a rapper, his name has been in the news lately for threatening Drake, the rapper Drake, over his baby mama. And if you see up any pictures of her, I mean, this is really just a mid non-black woman that's had a BBL. There is nothing special about this woman at all. But once again, another one of these black men have made this type of woman his baby mama. And he's even admitted, unbelievably, that he's actually pimped out this woman, and even implied that he actually had pimped her out to Drake as well. Now, I know people really want to draw the conclusion or draw the comparison that Diddy and 50 Cent really have the most in common. But I don't know. I think I would maybe argue that Sauce Walker and maybe 50 have the most in common. Now, I know in terms of, we want to talk about success. Obviously, 50 Cent is considered more successful, more powerful. But when you look at Sauce Walker is the perfect rapper for the dominant society. He's stupid. He's apparently not good with money, not very bright, doesn't take care of his kids, apparently high on lean all the time. He is the perfect example that the dominant society likes to show as black men. And even though you can't say that about 50, I think in a lot of ways 50 is probably the perfect example as well. 50 has never made any secret of the fact that he is strictly for the money. That is all he cares about. That's all he's ever cared about. He's not going to go out on a limb for anybody. He's not going to take on the cause of the black community. He's not going to take on any powerful people in the dominant society. He is very, very adept, and even more so in bringing down other black people. He does this endless trolling of other black people, other black rappers, people in the music industry who apparently are down on their luck. And he likes to make fun of them. He makes to make them appear in the worst possible light. Now, a lot of these people that he's done this to, I don't particularly care for, like the Jim Joneses stuff, but he seems to take pleasure in bringing down other black people. And so I think he's actually a perfect example of what the dominant society likes to see in black men. Now, if you look at Diddy, and this is not to say Diddy is some kind of wonderful person. Obviously, he's not. But if you look at the women that these two men have chosen to make their baby mamas and Diddy, instead of putting these women on a pedestal, Diddy, let's face it, he slutted these women out. I wonder if maybe that is one of the reasons why everyone is so gung-ho to put Diddy in prison and throw away the key. You know, when people talk about Diddy and all the horrible things he's done, you know what I'm starting to think now? Every time somebody talks about it, because I see people saying, well, they're going to get new charges on Diddy. I really think to myself, and I encourage you to do it too, when are they going to start charging people on these Epstein files? Not one person has been charged with anything. Not one person has been arrested. Not one person is being brought up on charges. Nothing. But all we hear about is they're going to throw new charges at Diddy. I think it's time that maybe we sort of hold people to account. And I see a lot of black channels doing this. They're always talking about Diddy. Teaser Tales, Ticket TV. They seem to be singularly fixated on Diddy and trying to see him have more charges. When are they going after these people on the Epstein list? What about that Abercrombie and Fitch guy who basically is accused of doing worse things? Have you heard about his trial? Have you heard anything about him? Do you hear about him in the news 24/7? No. So I'm really beginning to think that maybe it's time we, let go of this Diddy thing, regardless of what he's done. He wasn't convicted of the worst charges, the trafficking. He was convicted of, basically putting these women out for prostitution. And if you look at what Sauce Walker actually admitted to, how is what he's saying he did any different than Diddy? But Diddy seems to be the person that, I don't know, in some ways has to kind of hold the bag for all of everybody else's sins. So I think that's something that we really need to look at. But anyway, I think it's sad that these type of women are what black men and these powerful black men are holding up as some sort of aspiration. Because like I said, there's nothing really particular special about these women. And I just wish that some of us could have higher standards, or some of these men. Well, anyway, that's kind of my rant on it. So let me know what you think. Give me some comments about it. What do you think? Why are these women just held in such high regard by our brothers? All right, guys, that's it. Thank you.